Alright, I am back with a new Destiny 2 video, and I did a big rant about Ash and Iron yesterday, probably more to say there. Reclaim remains one of my least favorite activities in game history. I don't want to play it again. I played it 3 times, and I'm like, no, thank you. Plenty more to say there about the state of the game, but I wanted to switch gears to something that's maybe getting a little less attention, which is Eververse. At this point, I'm like mostly content to just kind of ignore Eververse at this point, but seeing Ash and Iron here and just how little has gone into, what's happening here in terms of the activity. And yeah, we'll have a dungeon exotic mission later. Who knows how that's going to go. But the entire game seems like it's being outweighed by like the amount of development that's going into Eververse compared to what that could be used for elsewhere. I'm not talking about like you can take the artists off of Eververse and make them make missions or whatever, but like this has gotten to a point where it is genuinely ridiculous how much is being sold in Eververse or what you have to pay for. I'm not going to go through literally everything, but like I read somewhere if you buy all the ornaments, it's like $260 or something. The point is there are 5 Eververse armor sets coming over the next 3 months, and that's in addition to, I think there were 4 or 5 after Edge of Fate. And I guess it's not the most unexpected, but given that this is a major update, I guess I didn't expect literally double, like the same amount of Eververse stuff that we got the first time around when we're getting just, 10% of the actual content. And, fool me once and all that, but like this has gotten to a point where it's just actively ridiculous. So I'll start with the worst thing, which is the fact that the long awaited, fully taken armor, look has been put into Eververse. I'm actively offended by this, and I'm I've gotten used to a lot of microtransactions over the years, but the fact that they made this a paid armor set launching with this quote major update is just baffling and like kind of a knife in the heart of a community who has literally asked for something like this forever. There was sort of a quasi taken shader a little bit ago, but then separately they also have the Ascendant Flow skimmer pack, which whatever, you can sell skimmers, I don't care that much, but like here's the shader, here's the other, this looks kind of weird on this, but like here's the other taken shader that you can put on all of your armor that's like the quote unquote real one. And they finally did this, and it's an Eververse item. Even for the state of Bungie, that's a little hard to believe, or like I've talked to Bungie directly, I'm like, this specifically sucks. Like I have to bring this up because it's just absurd. And then the other stuff, let's see here. Collections, armor. Is it seasons? It's not seasons. Level endgame? No. Universal ornaments? I think it's in here. Dupe. Okay. So this was the stuff last time around. Oh yeah, there was the Vex set, there was this stained glass set, there was a gladiator set, and then now this is the new stuff. There is the taken ones here right now, but this is an Ancient Majesty set, which is a very cool set of armor that is kind of knight inspired, really kind of unique, and that is fully Eververse. Oh, that looks really cool. And then yeah, the taken set. There is the Jade Rabbit set. It's quirky, but it's fun, and I wish you could see all these together. But, you can see how some people would want this. There are, of course, the universal ornaments that show up here. Each class has 2 of these, I believe. So you have to buy those individually. And then there are the weapon ornaments in here. Flare. Whatever. There's a bunch of weapon ornaments that, let's see. You go here, the endless scrolling of like all the stuff that's in here. I'm not even going to go to the sparrows and stuff. At least some of these I know for sure are for Ashen Iron. I don't think all of these are Ashen Iron, but some of these definitely are. So they've added a bunch of those. If they all are, I wouldn't be surprised. And then back to armor, because we're not done with that yet. We also have, this entire second battle pass. And then eventually we get to the new set here, which is kind of a Warmind inspired kind of thing, which that looks pretty cool. There's some new stuff there, but that is only on the paid track. And then we have it's not in here, but we have the Festival of the Lost Armor that's coming, which is like the horror villain one that you can buy that for Bright Dust. There were, they did increase Bright Dust prices. I don't know if people caught that, but then Bungie just came out and said that was a bug. So sure, it's a bug to raise Bright Dust prices by 300 on armor. Cool. I mean, I guess it's being reverted, but still. And it's gotten to a point where, the earnable synthweave transmog things did not reset season over season. But the other thing is that what we did get, where's the collections thing? The quote unquote new armor that we got, is it here? The smoke jumper set. You can see the problem here. It is just a barely reskinned. Is it even reskinned? I don't even think you can qualify this as reskinned. It's just a different shader essentially. And I don't know if they have the new Iron Banner set in here. Competitive. Maybe they do. This is... I don't know what this is. Is this Trials? I'm not sure, but I know that they have a new Iron Banner set that is a reskin version of the Warmind set, and that is obviously something that you can earn. And pretty much all of the weapons are reskinned at this point that are coming back. The new meta things, the Drang has been reissued. One of the new rocket launchers is just like Braytech Osprey. And so they're almost all of the art stuff, at least in terms of like this major update, is going toward Eververse. And again, this isn't like the most new thing, but the sheer volume of this, getting 10 Eververse sets pretty much in 6 months, even, doubling the number during this very minor, quote, very minor major update that is not a major update, is just ridiculous. And I guess we'll have a dungeon set. Is that going to be reskinned? I don't know. If it is, I haven't seen it, but it's pretty unbelievable that we're at this point. I know that Destiny needs to monetize and to earn money and things like this, but when you're dialing down the actual content you're giving out and just you've jammed literally everything into the portal and you've increased Eververse offerings to a point that we've never seen, even in the height of the game, I have never seen this level of Eververse ornaments. And like, it is between all of the classes, it's dozens, 24 with all the guns and the individual universal ones and the armor sets. It is just patently ridiculous. And I didn't even finish. There's this Devil's Ruin set, which has its own unique shader. They've done that before, but this is a new one in mid-season break. They did another shader pack with shaders that I think are actually pretty cool. Got that scale one, got this like graffiti art one, got this motion green one, got this iridescent motion one. Some of these are added to the game much later on, but again, they've done another paid pack now for $10. And I could go on forever about all these new things I find, but this sucks. This is at a point where I just can't believe that they're going this far, because you can't demoralize your player base to this extent and say that like you can't bring back the models for the old splicers. Cause like, I mean, the abilities are one thing, but like doing the models when you're doing all the models for armor and this kind of stuff here that's at least somewhat related. And reissuing the same armor sets multiple times that you did from literally the last 3 months, and then stuff that's earlier than that, as opposed to these like Bungie has been killing these armor sets forever. Pretty much every season, these armor sets are awesome. And at a certain point, you have to give people a little crumb. I think they did that with the Bushido set and the Pinnacle thing. That is like, that's one that struck me as like that was probably going to be Eververse at one point, but they actually decided to make it a free set because they had to give us a bone. But like one set for every 10, 15, 20 sets that's like truly awesome is not very much. And I don't know if I see this stopping. Like, if anything's going to be dialed back here, I don't think it's going to be Eververse. That said, I don't imagine if players are this kind of upset with everything else, they're running out to spend, you know, $20 per armor set 5 times over for each class, mind you. It's not like, you know, we're obviously not getting these in a bundle, so, you know, good luck with that. I don't know. It's ridiculous. I don't know if people are even aware of just how much stuff they're putting in the Eververse these days, because it's not just this. Like, this is the page where you always have to scroll over and see like the true amount of stuff that they've added per season. Again, this is one class, so there's double stuff in other areas, but yeah, it's one more thing. It's going to be largely ignored because of all the other stuff that's wrong with Ash and Iron, but I'm not even saying like this needs to change, because like, what's the point? What's the point of saying that like they need less Eververse stuff and they need to be more generous with it? Like, when has that ever really worked? Like, almost never. So, and it's only increased in time in sneaky ways. They just keep putting another armor set in, another ornament in, and you know, there used to be one universal ornament, I think, per for individual one per character. Now there's 2, and it just keeps going. I'm exhausted. Borderlands 4 tomorrow. Plenty to say about that, and plenty to say about that for probably the indefinite future here, because that is where things are at. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.